YouTube has just demonetized all of my videos, so please help support the creator by checking out my merch store. Novaland is a store where you can find t-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, iPhone cases, and many designs designed by me. As well, a Peculiar Occurrence fan? Well, I've opened up a store just for you. So head on over and buy your Peculiar Occurrence gear today. Links are in the description box below. Thank you. Welcome to Peculiar Occurrences. I'm your host, Lils Nova. Have you ever heard of the Borden house? How about the Borden Murders? Well, this is a peculiar occurrence to kill for. Let's get into it. The Borden house, known as one of America's most haunted houses, was built in the 1800s and was once owned by Andrew Borden. As of 1996, it has been a bed and breakfast haunted museum attraction in which all ghost hunting enthusiasts must explore due to the heinous and unsolved murders of Abby and Andrew Borden, dubbed the Lizzy Borden Murders. But wait, didn't I just say these murders went unsolved? Why, yes I did. But history tends to lay blame on those that weren't convicted as necessarily guilty. In a court of law, that is. Lizzy Borden was born July 19th, 1860, in Fall River, the youngest of 3 children, to Andrew Borden and his first wife, Sarah Morris Borden. She had an older sister named Emma, who was 10 years older. There was also a middle girl named Alice, who had died as a baby. Sarah Borden, Lizzy's mother, passed away by the time Lizzy was 2 years old, and Emma was 12 years old when their mother died. On her deathbed, Emma promised her mother that she would always watch out for Lizzy, and Lizzy ended up growing up seeing her sister more as her mother. Andrew remarried Abby Borden when Lizzy was only 5. Lizzy was known to not be very fond of her stepmother. Andrew was a very rich man who believed in living a modest life. They lived in a very modest third-class home with a fashioned water pump. They were living well below their means, but Lizzy, she dreamed of more. She wanted to live atop the hill and have a high-class social life. But her father would only allow her to go to school and church. No other activities were allowed. Lizzy felt neglected as a child and was also known as a shoplifter. Store owners would tell her father whenever she stole something, and he would pay for anything that she had stolen. Lizzy was known to have adored her father. It was even said that he died wearing a ring that Lizzy had gotten for him, though she despised her stepmother. At one point, Andrew Borden bought a house for his wife. His wife allowed her sister to live in the house. This angered both of his daughters, and they demanded to have something as well. So he gave them a house that had belonged to their grandfather, in which they weren't very happy with, so they turned around and sold the house back to him. At this point is when Lizzy stopped calling her stepmother Mother and started calling her Mrs. Borden. Lizzy was known for being very unhappy and depressed. She never married, and she worked teaching Sunday school at the local church, since that was the only option she had for work. The day before the murders, the entire family grew sick. Abby Borden crawled across the street to the doctor's house, claiming the bread had been poisoned, though Lizzy said she thought someone had poisoned the milk. On the day of the murders, Mr. and Mrs. Borden had breakfast alongside a man named John Morris. Lizzy did not take meals with her parents often, and Emma was not in town. Mr. Borden and John Morris left, while Abby Borden sent the maid outside to clean the windows and headed upstairs to her room. This was the last time anyone ever saw her alive. The couples were killed nearly 2 hours apart, according to how their blood looked. The public did not suspect Lizzy right away. Women were thought of as delicate flowers back then, and one would have to be quite heinous to commit such an act. Women that did kill often used poison. Poison was thought of as a woman's weapon. Andrew Borden's face was hacked beyond recognition with 11 stab wounds, while Abby suffered 19 wounds to the back of the head. The police never found the murder weapon, and though Lizzy Borden was the one to have found her father and stepmother, she did not have a spot of blood on her at the time of the incident. Lizzy Borden was accused of killing her father, Andrew Borden, and her mother, Abby Borden, on August 4th, 1892, while at their Massachusetts home. Andrew Borden was also known to have had a lot of enemies. When Abby Borden was questioned about her whereabouts of that day, she ended up giving 5 different excuses, with some major and slight contradictions. But on Lizzy Borden's behalf, the doctor had her on mind-altering drugs to help her with anxiety. Lizzy Borden was arrested for a short time before her trial, due to a doctor coming forward and saying that she had tried to purchase poison the day before the murders. At her arraignment, Lizzy pled not guilty. A lot of the high-class people of the community, along with the minister of her church and the rest of her church, thought she was a girl being persecuted for absolutely no reason. Lizzy Borden also ended up putting out a reward for $5,000 for the arrest of her parents' murderer. Lizzy ended up showing up in court on the arm of her minister, wearing fine clothes, perfect for a grieving daughter. She showed absolutely no fear in court of being found guilty. There were all sorts of testimonies, from doctors claiming that she had tried to buy poison, to the housemaid claiming that she had heard her upstairs that morning. The housemaid also claimed that Lizzy tried to burn the dress she was wearing that day. The prosecution even brought forward evidence of an old hatchet that they tried to claim was cleaned up and put in the barn and set up to look like it had been there for quite some time. The prosecution even went as far as to exhume the bodies, remove the heads, and bring them into court to compare the wounds with the edges of the hatchet. At this moment, Lizzy could no longer take it, or at least acted as if she could not, and she swooned and fainted. Lizzy's defense centered around facts about the Borden family, such as there were times during the day that a stranger could have easily snuck into their home unnoticed, as well as testimony of several strangers being noticed in the area on that particular day. A lot of attention went on the fact that there was absolutely no blood on Lizzy the day of the murder, while blood was found splattered all over the floors, the ceilings, the walls, everywhere. Lizzy's sister had testified to the fact that Lizzy had indeed burned the dress that she was wearing that day due to a spot of paint that was found on it, and that her herself had instructed Lizzy to burn the dress. But why burn the dress though? Over a spot of paint? Is that normal? Does anybody know that? The trial went on for 10 full days, though it only took the jury 10 minutes to decide the fate of Lizzy Borden, though they ended up taking a full hour for the break so that people didn't think that they made up their minds so quickly. When the jurors came back, it was unanimous not guilty. But when Lizzy Borden returned back home, she was quickly ostracized from the community, with a little thought in the back of everyone's mind wondering if she had really killed her parents. Lizzy's friends wanted her to drop to the shadows of high society, But that's not what Lizzy wanted. Lizzy wanted to be front and center of it all. She tried to create a whole new her, an entire new self, and an entire new life, even going by Elizabeth instead of Lizzy. Lizzy started getting obsessed with the theater and actors, and back then, actors were thought to be just a little above prostitution. But Lizzy became friends with many of them and started throwing lavish parties. Emma Borden did not approve of this lifestyle, therefore after one big lavish party, she decided to leave and never returned. Oddly enough, Lizzy Borden and her sister Emma died only 9 days apart. Do you think Lizzy Borden was guilty, or do you think it could have been someone else? Let me know down below. As well, if you hadn't seen it, Netflix is actually showing the Lizzy Borden movie and the Lizzy Borden Chronicles, which is a great series. I've watched them both. The Lizzy Borden movie seems to be more about, what actually supposedly happened, and I guess off of her diaries and off of the stories. And I don't know about the Lizzy Borden Chronicles. It seems to be the days after the trials. I believe a huge portion of it is made up, though, since, Emma left and they never saw each other again, but that's not how it's portrayed in the Lizzy Borden Chronicles. If you haven't seen either one and this story interests you, I would really go over and watch it. And no, this is not a sponsored ad. It was just something that I really liked. So go over and check out Netflix and check out the Lizzy Borden Chronicles and the Lizzy Borden movie if you want to know more about this. As well, if you want to hope to see Andrew Borden or Abby Borden themselves, you can always go and visit the Borden house. I would absolutely love to visit the Borden house and explore it. That's something I really hope I get to do one day. I guess time will only tell. Ugh, my kids would love that. They really would. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like me, subscribe and hit that little bell button there so you never miss an upload. As well, don't forget I've opened up a Peculiar Occurrence store. Make sure you go hit it and pick up your Peculiar Occurrence gear today. And until next time, keep your eyes peeled for all things peculiar. Do 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 do. YouTube has just demonetized all of my videos, so please help support the creator by checking out my merch store. Novaland is a store where you can find t-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, iPhone cases, and many designs designed by me. As well, a Peculiar Occurrence fan? Well, I've opened up a store just for you. So head on over and buy your Peculiar Occurrence gear today. Links are in the description box below. Thank you.
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.